The matchlock in your hands weighs 9 pounds, and you have never held anything this heavy on purpose. Your commander says load, and you load. Powder, ball, wadding, ramrod, 3 counts, no more. Because the man beside you who takes 4 counts is already dead and doesn't know it yet. You are one of 400 men in a line that exists to do one thing: stand still while the world tries to kill you, and then make noise back. You are not a samurai. You will probably never be a samurai. Your name is not recorded anywhere. If you die in the next 10 minutes, no scroll will mention it. No family will receive a stipend. No lord will remember your face. But the man commanding this line started exactly where you are standing. His name was Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Here is how far this can go, and here is what it actually costs. Everyone knows the samurai as the noble sword-carrying warrior class of feudal Japan. Almost nobody knows that the most powerful man in Japanese history, the one who unified the entire country, started his life as an Ashigaru, a peasant foot soldier, not even considered a full samurai on paper. Before I take you through every rank, from the man loading a gun in a firing line to the shogun who ruled an empire, I need to ask you one question. In 1591, the man who rose from peasant to ruler sealed the exact door behind him that he had just climbed through. He made it illegal for anyone else to do what he did. Why would the one man who proved the system worked be the one who broke it forever? Comment your answer below. You were born to a farming family that owes labor and grain to a lord you have never spoken to. War doesn't ask permission. When your daimyo needs bodies for the line, he sends men to your village, and the men who go become Ashigaru, literally light feet, the foot soldiers who are given a spear, or, if you're one of the newer conscripts, a matchlock gun that arrived from Portuguese traders less than 100 years ago and changed everything about what a peasant with no training could do to a mounted noble with a lifetime of sword instruction. You are not equipped because anyone respects you. You are equipped because you are cheap and the gun is not. Before firearms, an archer took years to become useful. A matchlock takes an afternoon. This is the whole secret of your existence. You are interchangeable. And that is precisely what makes you dangerous in large enough numbers. Some of you will die learning this. Most of you will die having proven it. You survive your first battle, then your second. By your third, the drilling has changed you in a way you didn't ask for. You no longer flinch at the volley beside you. You reload without watching your own hands. You have learned to hold your rank in formation while men on either side of you fall, because breaking formation kills more of you than staying does. This is not bravery. This is repetition doing what bravery cannot. Your commander notices men like you, not the ones who talk about courage, the ones who load in 3 counts under fire without needing to think about it. Hideyoshi noticed men like this in himself before anyone else did, which is the only reason any of what follows this level is possible for anyone born where you were born. The gap between an Ashigaru and a samurai is not a bloodline. It has never been a bloodline for men like Hideyoshi. It is a lord deciding you are more valuable alive and promoted than dead and replaceable. Your lord grants you a stipend, paid in koku, measured rice, the currency of your entire existence now. And with it comes something no amount of matchlock skill could buy you at the last rank: the right to carry 2 swords, and a family name that will actually be written down. You take an oath. The oath is not decoration. It is the entire architecture of your new life. Loyalty upward, in exchange for protection and stipend, in a chain that runs from you to your daimyo, and from your daimyo to a shogun neither of you has ever met. You train now, properly, for the first time. Sword forms, horsemanship if your stipend allows it. The Bushido code that will be quoted at your funeral, whether you live by it perfectly or not. Here is what nobody tells you at the ceremony. The sword you now carry is also a debt. It says, "I have been given something." It does not yet say what I owe for it. You find out gradually. You find out at the worst possible moments. You are noticed again, this time not by a daimyo, but by the shogunate itself, gokenin, a direct retainer of the shogun, not of a regional lord. It sounds like an upgrade, and in the ledgers it is one, but the stipend is modest and the work is unglamorous. Guard duty, policing, the low-level administration that keeps an empire's paperwork from collapsing under its own weight. You have gone from being one soldier among 400 to being one clerk among thousands. The sword is heavier when it's mostly ceremonial. You spend more of your life at a desk now than you ever did on a battlefield. And there is a specific kind of exhaustion in that nobody warned you about. The exhaustion of belonging to a system enormous enough that your individual competence barely moves it. But you are inside the Shogun's structure now, which means the next door, unlike almost every door before it, is actually visible. Hatamoto. Direct retainer of the Shogun. Elite guard or administrative rank. Privileged access to the shogunal court. By the early 1700s, there were roughly 5,000 men holding this rank across the entire country. 2 out of every 3 of them held under 400 koku, barely more than a comfortable gokenin. Only around 100 men in all of Japan held 5,000 koku or more at this level. You are somewhere in that spread, climbing. There is a number above you that you think about more than you'd like to admit. 10,000 koku. Cross it, and you stop being a hatamoto. You become something else entirely. A name in a different registry. A rank most hatamoto will die without ever touching. You have diplomats' access now. Inspectors' authority. Men who were once loading matchlocks in a firing line now bow to you without knowing your grandfather never held a sword. You have also learned the second half of what you learned as a samurai. The debt gets bigger with every rank. It never gets smaller. 10,000 koku. You've crossed it. There were roughly 200 daimyo in all of Japan after the Battle of Sekigahara. 200 men controlling every domain, every rice field, every conscription order, every execution, in a country of millions. You are now one of them. You command taxation. You command justice. You command the Ashigaru levies that will be pulled from villages exactly like the one you may or may not have come from, and handed matchlocks, and told to stand in a line, and made to load in 3 counts or die not knowing why. You built a castle town. High-ranking retainers live closest to your walls. Middle-ranking samurai further out. The Ashigaru, if they live in the town at all, live at the edges, in the direction the enemy is expected to come from first. You did not choose this geography by accident. Neither did the daimyo who once did this to the Ashigaru your grandfather might have been. There is one rank above daimyo, and it is closed to almost everyone reading a scroll about how to reach it. To become shogun, the historical requirement was lineage, a legitimate claim to descent from the Minamoto clan. Not wealth, not victories, not koku. Blood that predates every promotion this entire ladder has offered you so far. If you reach this rank, it was never really the ladder that got you here. It was the ladder plus something the ladder cannot give. You command armies. You distribute land and titles to daimyo, who owe you the same loyalty you once owed upward through a chain that started with a lord you never met and a spear you were handed because you were cheap. You enforce Sankin Kotai, the alternate attendance system, compelling every daimyo in the country to spend alternating years in your capital, hostages to your court in everything but name. This is the top. It was built to be climbed by exactly one kind of man, and you already know from every rank behind you that the climbing itself was never the part that was fair. The Hitore Edict makes it illegal to wear a sword in public. Not illegal to be a samurai. Illegal to carry the single object that has defined every rank in this entire ladder since the day a lord first decided a peasant with a matchlock was worth promoting. The sword that cost a stipend. The sword that meant a family name would be written down. The sword that separated you from the man beside you in the firing line who took 4 counts instead of 3. Gone. By decree. Overnight. Legally. In 1877, Saigo Takamori, remembered as the last samurai, leads an armed rebellion against the very government built on the reforms that made men like Hideyoshi's rise possible in the first place. He is crushed. Not by swords, by a modern conscript army, trained fast, armed with rifles descended in a direct technological line from the same matchlocks that once turned an unnamed peasant into a battlefield decisive weapon 300 years earlier. The gun that built the ladder is the gun that ends it. Every rank in this entire structure, Ashigaru to veteran to samurai to gokenin to hatamoto to daimyo to shogun, assumed the ladder itself was permanent. It was never permanent. It was just old enough that everyone standing on it forgot it had been built at all. Somewhere, right now, a young man is being handed something heavier than he expected. He doesn't know the word Ashigaru. He doesn't know what a koku is, or why the men above him count their worth in rice instead of gold, or that the entire ladder he's about to start climbing was sealed shut by law before he was ever born. in a country that no longer runs on lords and stipends at all. He just knows the weight of the thing in his hands. He grips it anyway. He always does.